that. All right, let's see. Look forward to your segment, Bob. Very good. And Suze, of course. Let's let's get into the intel portion of the call now. Uh, First of all, am I surprised to be here so far without the toll-free number to give out to everybody? Yes. Really kind of thought we would be here. Things are funny right now because, yes, I'm getting a little trickle of information here and there, but it's not like it used to be in the last month or so, where we really had quite a bit of information coming in every day, you know. And today, yesterday, day before, it's all quite a bit quieter out there. It's just, I mean, we're getting some good things, but things have gotten really quiet, almost dead quiet. And in a way, that's a very positive thing. You know, those of us who are trying to track this and keep up with it, we're looking for the latest, most up-to-date nugget of information to give us an idea of what is going on and when it's going to release to us. And at this point, uh, we don't have that timing so perfectly down to where we do know exactly where. We've got a rough idea of what's going on and when it's coming and all this. But to fine tune it right now, a lot of people believed even today that we were fine tuning it and we had this timing down. It's coming and we know when. And it hasn't come yet. Not in the prescribed time frame that we thought, even today. But I'll try to address that in a little bit more, and we'll try to get a handle on what exactly is going on. So I think the fact that it's quiet, pretty quiet overall, is a very good thing. Some sources that we've had in the past have gone dark. They literally are not able to use their phones. Their phones have been essentially cut off. And so that makes it even more difficult to get certain types of information because the sources are no longer available. And that was the case yesterday somewhat and today quite a bit. So let's look at it this way. We tend to look at Iraq first and then work our way back this direction toward the U.S. Since it's been 5 days since our last call, of course, a lot of intel has come and gone. We know some things that have happened very positively to move this thing along. So I'll try to just capsulize it and give you sort of the concept of where we are right now. With Iraq, we had them last Thursday. We had them ready to set off fireworks in each province of the 16 provinces in Iraq. We have Iraq ready to disseminate the new lower denomination of the dinar. We had value given to the fils, the FILS coins, which would have no value at the old rate, but obviously you would use coins to break down the value of a dinar. Because the dinar is going to have such a high value in and of itself. If something were to cost less than a dinar, like a quarter of a dinar or a fifth of a dinar, whatever, you'd need coins to be able to utilize those pricing, that pricing. Now, what we do know has happened in Iraq is they have had some rate changes take place in country. We are still looking for, let's call it an international announcement about the revaluation of the currency and the fact that they are truly sovereign as a nation and they have their complete sovereignty back and they're ready to go. We know the take back of Mosul has been accomplished for quite some time, but yet the news reports of it are just coming out on mainstream news in the last couple of days. Now, the sad news is there were 2 bombings, either overnight for us last night or this morning, in Baghdad. And we're sorry to hear that this occurred, obviously. I think one had 14 casualties and one had 17 casualties, 2 separate bombings. And we're very saddened by that. Anytime life is lost, innocent life like that is lost, it's a tragedy. And we want those that are listening from Iraq, and especially in Baghdad or in Kurdistan, to know that we feel that, and we're saddened by that. We know that you are looking to move forward, and we're looking for you to move forward. And infrastructure projects in Iraq to keep going and keep moving. We know that they've laid brand new electrical cabling in Mosul. We know they've put in new fiber optics. We know that they have satellite links that are set up, that all the banks are now connected and working, and ATM machines are up and running, and everything throughout the country is ready. We know that fireworks were set to go off, but they've held that back, that portion of the celebration. We know that they're in Ramadan now, and we know that they will set off the fireworks when the exact timing is right. And we know that some of the parades took place a few days ago, right before the start of Ramadan. And our understanding is that several parades, maybe 6, I think, took place in 6 different provinces, but they have more that they had planned to do. So they're sort of, I think they're sort of in a midst of celebration, but not really full-blown as much as they will be once those announcements are let out and the budget is put in the Gazette finally, with the rate visible and so on. So that's where we are in Iraq. Yeah, everything's done. It's all done from there, but we still need to have some visibility with that. My understanding was that our Treasury Secretary was to make an actual congratulatory phone call to Prime Minister Abadi this morning, Eastern Daylight Time, to the Prime Minister. Have not heard a confirmation whether that occurred, but that's what we heard was going to happen, and I think it was going to be a congratulatory call, okay, essentially for the revaluation of the currency, as well as for the sovereignty and the return of Mosul. So, is everything perfect in Iraq? No, or we wouldn't have had those 2 bombings overnight and this morning. Okay, so continue to pray for the Iraqi people. Continue to pray for them to not only have their sovereignty, their full freedom, but just that they would have peace in the land. All right, let's move from Iraq. We do not know the exact rate right now on the screens. We know that they were trading those currencies, all of them, up to new levels. I don't doubt that is still happening, but I haven't heard any update on the dinar rate or the dong rate or the rupiah or the Afghani. I have, however, heard about a new base rate for the Zimbabwe dollar, and it's in really, really good territory, really good. As far as like a non-NDA, non-negotiable rate, it's very high right now, over 7 bells. So I think that's really interesting. The other thing is, when it comes to the redemption centers, we know that HSBC is in charge of those. We know that they are working in conjunction with Wells Fargo. We know that we have over 7,430 plus redemption centers in the U.S. and Canada. And we have the operatives receiving memos to report in as of starting at midnight last night, because they had a couple, 2.5 days off with skeleton crews for the Memorial Day weekend. Okay, so they are back in place. And we also know that Wells Fargo has been hiring wealth managers and wealth advisors like crazy since the beginning of last week. And that's, they need them. They need them because of all this, the new high net worth individuals that are going to be coming from these exchanges. Now, we also know that they are in position in the Tier 2 banks, of which, remember, there were 107 branded bank names. That's multiple thousands of branches throughout the U.S. and Canada, 107 brands. And we know that they're also helping at the Tier 1 banks, of which we have 4 that we're familiar with. Of course, Wells. We're also familiar with Bank of America and Chase and Citibank. So what's interesting is that we have the wealth managers there that were to come in as of 10:45 this morning, when everybody was supposed to report. And that was going to be, specifically at banks and branches. So we are positioned beautifully to start. When are the toll-free numbers coming? This is the, 200 trillion Zimbabwe dollar question, because we're looking forward to the exchanges as soon as we get the numbers. We believe, we don't think there'll be any hesitation. We've heard different people give estimates. Some people even believe the toll-free numbers are out. No, they're not out yet. I know that I have been honored with being selected to put those out to the community. And so far, I've been told to be on alert for them, but I haven't received it yet. I'm looking forward to that. We actually thought it could be this afternoon that would occur. And we're ready for it. But we've missed that window now. It's past this afternoon on the West Coast. So we're in a situation where we're looking for this to go down pretty soon. We've heard some of the banks say that they are preparing for exchanges to start on the 1st of June. That's Thursday. Don't know if that's meaning for us when they're saying that, or whether they're talking about the public. My personal feeling was they weren't quite ready for the public yet, the John Q. public, but they certainly should be ready for us now. Because now that all the banks are back online, now that the market has opened again in China for the second day in a row since those bank holidays, we understand the trades are taking place in Hong Kong, and Beijing, Singapore, and when it's 9 o'clock, essentially you have a 13-hour advantage in the Far East. They're 13 hours ahead of the East Coast. So, it's already way past just Wednesday there. It's already Wednesday morning, about 9 or 10 in the morning over there. Okay, so I think that's a good thing for us to realize that we should be in the midst of this right now. And I would say, we don't ever try to call it on the big call. We really don't, but I try to give you an idea of what I'm hearing and roughly where we are. I do believe it's okay for me to let you know that, hey, we are close. This thing is supposed to be here. And I don't believe we're going to have to wait too much longer based on the intel that's coming in. As far as we know, all of the groups, meaning the tiers 1, 2, and 3, are complete. We know that some of the groups were to be paid today and still could be paid today, where they'd see the money in their accounts and have access to it. But if they don't have access to it today, it could be very likely that they would get the access to it tomorrow. The theory is when one gets paid, all get paid, which would be a true shotgun start. So people that have been SKR'd, advance pays, part of groups, subgroups, and so on, that have money showing in their account, or they've had a pre-advice that they're about to be paid, all of that should come in at approximately the same time. And as a result, we should also be getting our toll-free number at approximately that same time. So it's trying to give us a shotgun start. It's trying to give us all money at approximately the same time. What else is happening today? We know that the United Arab Emirates, where Dubai is located, uses the dirham, D-I-R-H-A-M, the dirham, as their currency. Understand today that articles came out talking about the dirham being gold-backed, a gold-backed currency in the Middle East, in Dubai, in the United Arab Emirates. Kind of a big deal. I think that is an indicator that not only is the UAE going to be gold-backed with the dirham, but we also, all currencies around the world, with this currency reset, will have asset-backed, primarily gold-backed currencies. And this changes the value of these currencies so much. It gives so much more value to these currencies to not have them backed by just nothing, by thin air, or in our case, by the full faith and credit of the United States. And we have credit. We have faith here, and that's why our currency is still strong. But imagine our currency as well being gold-backed. I don't see a precipitous drop in the value of the dollar like some of these guys you guys have seen over the years. I don't believe it's going to be like that. Will the dollar be worth less than other currencies? Yes. I mean, that's how we get a rate of what we're getting on the Zim, and what we're getting on the dinar, and what we're getting on the dong, and so on. But those rates that we see on our screens for our redemption will probably not last as long as the rates when they settle in a little bit more after we go through. Like the rates that John Q. Public sees, for example, on the screens when they go in will probably be different than what we're going to have access to. Now, one thing I did learn over the last couple of days is really a very positive thing for us, and that is that as much as we're going to be involved with humanitarian projects, and we're going to take a portion of our redemption, of our currency exchange, and put those into humanitarian projects, my understanding is at this time that because the internet group, as we call ourselves on the big call, and it's a large group of approximately 5 million or more people that are paying attention, that are on blogs, that are on calls, that are on chat sites, Skype rooms, these people, like we're talking to tonight on the big call, have more information than anybody else. They have more information than the group people that exchanged before us. We have more in-depth information. I've been doing this call for 6 years, and I did a call before that for a year, and I've been in this 13 years. So I've seen a lot of things happen over that period of time, and it gives us sort of an advantage in knowing what really to expect or what's going on. So I was pleasantly surprised to hear that even though many of us on the big call will be involved with humanitarian projects, because there's no reason to exchange for tons and tons of money and then just sit on it and watch it in a bank. I mean, that's worthless. You know, how many toys do we need? How many homes do we need? How many cars do we need? We don't need that much. Yeah, are we gonna buy a few nice things? A little bit of jewelry? Yeah, a couple of nice cars? Maybe a beautiful home or two? Yes, of course. But that doesn't even, guys, that doesn't even scratch the surface of what we're looking at. That's why giving to ministry and humanitarian projects, rebuilding America, helping the veterans, all of these things that we're going to do together is so vitally important. But the point of this is that because we are aware of what's going on, because we're the most informed of those that are taking part in this exchange, we are the light workers. We are, to use an expression that they've used in the redemption centers, the COs, the chosen ones. You know, we know the value of these currencies after they're exchanged. We know that the ZIM is a bond, a gold-backed bond. We know, and it's not just the ZIM. The dinar is gold-backed. Even the dong is gold-backed. I mean, guys, they're all backed by assets. And what's really fun is that when it comes to, well, what percentage are we going to use for humanitarian projects? What percentage do you want to use for personal? I've told you guys I plan to use my entire ZIM exchange for my God account, which is totally for ministry and humanitarian projects. And the other currencies might be more personal use. But really, that designation to go humanitarian, personal, 80-20, 70-30, 50-50, whatever that is, that's totally up to you. The beauty of it is you set that up, and I think, to be honest, completely honest with you, I don't know why you couldn't change that if you wanted to change that. You could set it up one way and say, well, you know what? I really don't need that much personally. I'm going to take that other trust and designate that, the funds in that account, toward humanitarian projects or to something, bigger, a large project that requires a lot of money, or rebuild America because there are more cities that we want to help rebuild. There's more towns, there's more communities out there that we want to give to and create opportunity for people and create jobs. That's what it's going to be about. The point of this whole thing is you guys are going to have the ability to designate those percentages, if you want to use that term, those percentages for humanitarian or for personal. And it's just totally up to you. Totally up to you. The beauty of this is if you are going to be doing humanitarian projects, which I hope you all do. I hope you all want to do that. I know many people have written in and have indicated to us that they're with us. They want to do some things to help. You guys can negotiate those rates. We are the only group, listen to this, we are the only group, the internet group, that has the right and the ability to negotiate our rates. That's a major deal, guys. You guys have heard some groups have a group rate of this. Some groups had a pre-negotiated rate of this or that. Some people do this. I'm going to say that you have the ability to, on your own, negotiate your own rates. And I'm going to say especially on the Zim. I'm just telling you. And it's a beautiful thing because if you have big plans like Sue does, like Bob does, like Pastor Stephen does, like I do, it might take a larger rate. It could take a higher rate negotiated. So I would say don't be shy when it comes to your privately negotiable rates. Banks use the term sovereign rates. Will we get the sovereign rates? Guys, I can't speak to that. I don't know that. All I know is that you have the ability to negotiate a higher rate and use that money for good. Use it to help rebuild America. Use it for the Veterans Retreat Network. Use it for whatever purpose you decide. It's just not going to do you a whole lot of good to negotiate super high rates and just be super wealthy and sit around and get fat and happy. That's not really going to, that might seem fun for a little while, and then all of a sudden you're going to go, man, this is empty. It's like being like Solomon. Solomon was the wealthiest man in history. God added everything to him, man. He got everything. He had concubines. He had wives. He had everything. He had all this gold and silver and all this stuff. And, at the end of it, he says, it's all vanity. After all, he looked around and he said, it's all vanity. It's like, it's almost meaningless. The only meaning is going to be what you do with it to help other people. Doesn't mean you give everybody money, just hand out money. Put people in positions where they can have pride in their work. Hire people and pay them a decent wage, a really good wage. Let's get the wage base way up in this country. We can do that. We can absolutely do it. Let's create long-lasting job opportunities. We can do that. We can find out what a certain job pays and maybe add a little bit more to that. And create opportunities for these millennials that are coming out with degrees from college and still living at their parents' house and just don't really have now. I know they want the ideal job. I know anybody coming out of college wants to be making 80 or 100 grand right off the bat. I know that. You can't blame them for that. But just, there's a lot of talent out there, and we're going to be putting those people to work. We're going to be creating good hiring opportunities with jobs in the trades as well. I think we're going to end up having a shortage. I think we're going to have a shortage of electricians, a shortage of welders, a shortage of carpenters, shortage of a lot of these good quality trade jobs, because I think we're going to put them all to work. And I think we're going to try to figure a way, and I've got some plans for this too, a way to train people, to create apprenticeship programs, to create mentorship programs in our Rebuild America programs, so that we can take people that want to say, hey, I want to help. I want to be part of that. How do I do that? And then we offer them a job. We offer them training. We offer them apprenticeships. We're going to be doing all of that stuff. If you want to be part of that and you want to take pride in that, I think that's wonderful. Because these are going to be long-term projects. We're not going to rebuild America in 5 years or 10 years. We're going to try to go 50 and 100 years. We're just going to take this thing, tie into what we're doing. We'll let you know what we're doing. We'll try to give you a template for what's going. We're cleaning them up, putting our vets to work. Guys, we're going to be now. And I will do my best to create an atmosphere where we all can work together towards some of these common goals. I'm going to be hiring people.